corn and wheat for arid climates, his work through the years, the plains of Siberia, the dust bowl of Western Africa, our own desert Southwest, South and Central America, that his work, hybridizing corn and wheat for arid climates, had saved from famine the lives of over 2 billion people. The guy saved 2 billion lives. And for that, he was Person of the Week. It kind of aggravated me because I remember thinking, it's not Norman Borlaug. I was talking to the TV, it's not Norman Borlaug that did it. It was a guy named Henry Wallace. Henry Wallace was Vice President of the United States under Roosevelt. Now, a lot of people think, wait a minute, I thought Truman was Vice President under Roosevelt. Well, that's true. But remember, Roosevelt served 4 terms. He had 3 different vice presidents, and the middle one was the former Secretary of Agriculture, a man named Henry Wallace, who, while he was Vice President of the United States, used the power of that office to create a station in Mexico whose sole purpose was to hybridize corn and wheat for arid climates. And he hired a young man named Norman Borlaug to run it. And it was Norman Borlaug who won the Nobel Prize, and it was Norman Borlaug who got Person of the Week. But when you think about it, it was Henry Wallace who saved the 2 billion people, wasn't it? Really? Unless maybe it was George Washington Carver. You remember Carver, don't you? The peanut stuff? Here's one thing people don't know about Carver, is when he was 19 years old and a student at Iowa State University, he had a dairy sciences professor who on Saturday and Sunday afternoons would allow his 6-year-old little boy to go on botanical expeditions with this brilliant student. And it was George Washington Carver that took this little 6-year-old boy and pointed his life in a direction. It was George Washington Carver that took this 6-year-old Henry Wallace and put a vision in his life about plants and what they could do for humanity. It's amazing to think about it, isn't it? George Washington Carver flapping those butterfly wings with the peanut stuff. 266 things he developed from the peanut that we still use today. He flapped his butterfly wings with the sweet potato. 88 things he developed from the sweet potato that we still use today. And while nobody was even looking, he just flapped his butterfly wings a couple of times with a little 6-year-old boy and just happened to save the lives of 2 billion people and counting. So when you think about it, maybe it was Carver that should have been Person of the Week. Unless it would have been the farmer from down in Missouri. A man named Moses had a wife named Susan. They lived in a slave state, but they didn't believe in slavery. Well, this was a problem for these psychopaths like Quantrill's raiders who came through farms and villages at night, destroying and killing. And one January night, Quantrill's raiders came through Moses and Susan's farm, and they burned the barn, and they shot several people, and they drug off a lady named Mary Washington, who refused to let go of her infant baby, George. Now, Mary Washington was Susan's best friend. And because of that relationship, Moses sent word out immediately, and a messenger here and a message here, trying to create a meeting with Quantrill's raiders, and 2 days later he had it. And he took a black horse in the evening time, and it went several hours north to a crossroads in Kansas to be there at the appointed time, meeting 4 of Quantrill's raiders who showed up on horseback, carrying torches, with the flour sacks over their heads, with the eye holes cut out. And there Moses traded the last horse he had left on his farm for what they threw him in a burlap bag. And as he caught it and they thundered off, he went to the ground, and there in that cold darkness with that white breath billowing out, he pulled out of that burlap sack a cold, naked, almost dead infant baby boy. And he jerked open his jacket and his shirts, and he put that baby in next to his skin and covered the child up, and he walked that baby out, talking to him, promising him that he would raise him as his own, telling him he would educate him to honor his mother, who they knew was already dead. And that was the night he told that baby he would give him his name. And that is how Moses and Susan Carver came to raise that little baby George Washington. So when you think about it, maybe it was the farmer from down in Missouri that saved the 2 billion people. Unless. And hey, you guys know we could do this all night. How far back could we go? I mean, really, how far back could we go to show whose move, at what time, at what point in history? How far back could we go to show who it really was who saved the 2 billion people? A number that continues to increase while we sit here. How far back could we go? And how far forward could we go in your life? How far forward could we go to show the lives that you'll touch? I mean, there are generations yet unborn whose very lives will be shaped and shifted by what you do tomorrow, and the next day, and the next, and the next, and the next. Because everything you do matters. Every move you make, every action you take, not just for you, not just for your family, not just for your hometown. Everything you do matters to all of us and forever.
Do you think the Carvers thought the child they had saved would be linked to saving 2 billion people? Do you think that when people saw that Washington's parents were killed, that they felt like this was a terrible tragedy that could never lead to good? Probably, but it didn't. He helped 2 billion people, and it goes to show that we don't see the full picture like God does. We can't see 140 years into the future and see what one move could make and one move could change. We don't see that. We just see what happens now. And here's the last video, one more video. Because you can't recognize good without evil.
Welcome to the 1 Minute Apologist. We interview the world's leading apologists to provide credible answers to curious questions.
Does evil disprove atheism?
Bobby, many times atheists put forth the argument for evil as if it somehow disproves God, but evil cannot disprove God. Why? Because there'd be no such thing as evil unless there was good, and there'd be no such thing as good unless God existed, in an objective sense anyway. So evil doesn't disprove God. Evil may prove there's a devil out there, but it doesn't disprove God, because evil is necessary, or I should say good is necessary for evil even to exist. In fact, I think C.S. Lewis put it this way. He said, the shadows prove the sunshine. In order to have shadows, you have to have sunshine. Oh, you can have sunshine without shadows. You can have good without evil, but you can't have evil without good. You can't have shadows without sunshine. So if evil exists, it's going to sound funny, but if evil exists, God exists. Not the other way around. I think it's quite obvious that evil exists. If that's the case, atheism is false.
What Frank Turk is basically saying is that you can have good without evil, but you can't have evil without good. And to have good, you need a moral lawgiver. So atheists will often use this argument, and they're being hypocritical. We can't have moral law. We can't recognize good without evil, without a moral lawgiver, which means God. Finally, and in summary, we need to come back yet again to the cross of Christ. If we again ask the question, why does God allow evil and suffering to continue, and we look at the cross of Jesus, we still do not know what the answer is. However, we know what the answer isn't. It can't be because he doesn't love us. It can't be that he is indifferent or detached from our condition. God takes our misery and suffering so seriously that he was willing to take it on himself. So if we embrace the Christian